YouTube, how's it going? It's KARLISGREAT here. Well, I do another video on the channel, and it's been quite a bit, from some time for some videos. But today I'm bringing here some big news. Alright, well, some kind of news. So currently, as you know, Outlast Trials, it's probably been like almost a month since the whole program Omega update and stuff, and the update's still there, so nothing has really been updated or changed, so everything's still there. But right now, yesterday or 2 days ago, July 19th, Rosie, one of the members of Red Barrel, has released an announcement in which that on their Twitter page, the founders and the game director of the people who made Outlast Trials, they've done interviews and now they're discussing about the whole updates and future and everything, and their dev team, they're still growing and everything. So we're getting some news and there's some articles that we're going to go over and read about, and I'll just explain to you a short synopsis you can read on your own time. But basically, we got some news or some updates about from the game devs themselves, and they're going to discuss about the future of the game currently as of. So it's good that it gives us some hope for the game because, as you know, I read the Steam community pages. As you can see, I'm gonna put some images of the Steam community post. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, the game's dying," or "The game's everything." You guys have to keep in mind that a small dev team like this, they're working hard, in order to get these games. And Outlast Trials, there's a lot of like expansion of it going on, but I'll probably explain that to you guys as we go through the thing. So yes, all right. So anyways, let's get right on to the articles, and then I'll explain it to you. And apparently, also good news. This game also won Horror Game Multiplayer of the Year, which is actually kind of crazy. So, and honestly, kind of glad because this was honestly one of the best horror multiplayer games I've played in a long time. So it's getting up there to the Dead by Daylight level, but I feel like this game could be honestly better than Dead by Daylight. But that's just my opinion. No biases or anything. That's just my opinion. So yeah. So anyways, let's get to the articles and I will explain it to you explain to you and my theories on it. All right. So let's get to it. All right. So this is the first article. Love arm wrestling in the Outlast Trials. More mini games are coming soon. Okay. So there is another article. So this article is basically explaining the multiplayer lobby. So what this means is basically like apparently they're going to add even more mini games into the Outlast Trials lobby because, as you know, the only mini game right now in the Outlast Trials lobby right before going into the trial is arm wrestling, which is very popular. But they're gonna add more additional games to it according to what Morin says, the head person who's the head developer of the game, or pretty much just Red Barrel in general. So they're planning to expand more on minigames, and then apparently the idea of these minigames are going to be more based off a psychological test, which is interesting, or a fun mechanic while at the same time we're brainwashing you. So we told this, so we want to know where you're at psychologically. So this is actually like more interesting because as you know, Outlast Trials is like a whole game about experiments and stuff. So yeah, so that's actually really interesting to do. Like arm wrestling, it is very engaging and stuff, and it's like all about timing. It tests your reaction skill, so like that's cool. So that would be cool though for like whole new mini games because a lot of usual like mini game lobbies like what I could think of Phasmophobia for example, they have like basketball, Jenga, and stuff. I mean, I don't know if it really goes well with the whole like ghost hunting theme, but I guess that's kind of okay for them to like as like a break room or something. But there's some cool Easter eggs in those rooms. But this one, hopefully, like because like look, in the article it says like we could get some Rorschach tests, five finger skillets, like hallucinations. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. And apparently, according to what the article says, Morin or the guy, he also revealed that the Murkoff facility also took place near the Havaspoo reservation, in which like where basic so it's basically there could be in some possibility that there could be a crossover with Outlast 2 because they say that it's in the Outlast Trials takes setting in the same place as the one in Outlast 2. So that's really an interesting theory on that. So that could be actually really cool. And hopefully mini games, I guess it'd be cool too because like, because I don't know, maybe some people are sick of the arm wrestling. I mean, I just only play arm wrestling from like time to time, but like I don't play it as much. But I think it'd be really interesting if they do add something like that. So Yeah, anyway, well, let's read to the next article, and I think this article might be a little bit more bigger than I thought it would be. All right, so let's get to it. All right, the next article: Outlast Trials devs have some crazy ideas for the future of the game. Okay, so this one is going to be one of the bigger ones because, as you know, right now, Outlast Trials. They said that in the release of launch in 1 week, they sold over 1 million copies, which is very impressive and stuff. So originally, Outlast Trials was probably set to release back then, like way less than 2023, which early release, but like due to like the whole like pandemic and everything, like it was hard for them to work, so like it's only fair about it and all and stuff. But yeah. So what they've discussed apparently is that each environment, like the whole like prime asset and everything. He said that maps were more modular, like. So apparently they also say that some maps they might not always remain the same. Because like in the game they might do like hallucinations and everything, but it's like really up to the devs. Like they can change how the map looks and everything, and they can change how it functions, the way the map like how it the layout can change and everything. Because keep in mind, Outlast Trials right now, like all the layout is always the same every time you play the map, but like just the different objective items are always plotted differently sometimes. If you're ever doing like feed the children, like what else? Foster orphans, like any objective based things that requires transporting items to another destination, basically, or doing multiple objectives. So they could always just change the layout and everything, which is really interesting. And they also say that they're making more. They're gonna try making more scenarios in which okay, they basically like, which is an interesting thought. What I read, forcing you to find your way to safety through tunnels. So that could mean like basically in some horde missions, like the mission could go wrong and like causes the thing to exit. So you're forced to find like a new way out instead of going out the original one, which is a kind of an interesting concept because like experimentations go wrong. I think that's a cool concept for horror games too, and I think I've seen some horror game situations like that. So, and also like they also say that they're doing a lot of testing and everything, and that's why they're putting up everything for us, to the players, to see how we would react to the early access. So they think of it. So basically, it's like doing it like a play test for them, but actually playing the game. So basically, Red Barrel's like idea of like how the test is like the players play it. So you know how like Program Omega, Stay Together, Verity, the one where we basically have to just stay close the entire time. Well, yeah, so that's basically more of an experimentation thing. So you know how like when you play Program Omega, when you do all the Program Omega programs, you don't get like really a reward for it. Well, that's probably because in my theory, in my opinion, people say like, "Oh, that's dumb," but I come to a realization thinking like, okay, this is probably just like as a test for the developers to see how people would react to it and how much feedback or response we would get. See if they would determine to whether put this Verity into the actual main game. Because keep in mind, this game's in early access, but yet this game already reached a high popularity right now. So this game has a lot of potential to grow. There's a lot of ideas they could do with this. And like this game has too many there's a lot of ideas people can go for. That's why they always want feedback, responses. Honestly, this horror game like first day and even the closed beta was like really fun because you're basically doing objectives and then you got to escape basically while working together, which is really cool. See, they're doing so many like experiments and everything. They're testing a lot of things. Yeah, so like yeah, also the cool thing, I think the cool thing about this is like, you know how like some horror multiplayer like they don't have a lobby, they're just like, okay, you just have to wait on this menu to pick your picks. Kind of like Dead by Daylight's layout, but like I think a lot of the people like this because they like playing like in between like mini games before loading up a mission, which gives them like a cooperative experiments and stuff. And like they have a lot of ideas in the future of this game, which I am really excited of and I'm looking forward to it. So, and there's also a lot of possibilities with a lot of things, you know. Like there's like many things to expand. Trials, you know. It always like shift and everything. Why like okay, so the term shifting, it's like why I would say it's this game is a lot more like a shift, you know? It's more like because like this game can always just change how it wants to. Because keep in mind, because since the game's in early access, they can change on how everything works basically. So they could change the layout to like a part 2 or something. Because keep in mind, because right now like Outlast Trials is in like a pre-season right now, like a season 1, like a season pass, like. So what I mean is basically like the devs of Outlast Trials are basically like they're like you know they're like the scientists you know and we're like the lab rats you know we're like running through rat mazes and like we're basically like the testers for them and then they just write down like how like the response they get or like the feedback they get and then they try to write it and then they try to innovate it to something new something challenging for the players to make it more difficult for them because right now it's like it's going in a constant like scenario so it's like all easy, but that could all go 180 and it could become harder than it could be already is. Because keep in mind, like I play this game a lot, but I still find this game hard to beat sometimes from time to time. That's why like I make the like you see in my streams I do like this wheel thing. Because like I try to make this game challenging for myself and hopefully people like, you know, see how they are and then like maybe like the devs could like do something about it. Like they could put some ideas that I would done on my wheel and stuff. So which is very interesting. So yeah, so that's pretty much how I sum up this second article. It's more like basically hit them about how to expand their idea basically and how like what theories or crazy ideas they could do for the game later on in the future. Because like I know this game will be very popular in the future. So that's why like they're creating these crazy ideas now and see how they execute it. And we're the lab rats basically. So yeah. So anyways, let's get to the final article for let's get to the last article of the video. So yeah, so let's get to that. Okay. This one is the most unique one. The Outlast Trials may be getting a PvP-ish mode in the future. Okay. So this one was probably like what kind of stood out for me the most for this. So the thing is, PvP, how I feel about it, I don't think it's gonna be like, you know, oh, it's not like Dead by Daylight, like, oh, you're the killer and stuff. It's not like that. I feel like they're gonna make it more like a competition thing with like lab rats. Like they go through like different trials to see who gets there the fastest, basically. Kind of like you know experiments. Like see like you know we got the so 1v1v1. I feel like that could be an interesting concept too. Hmm. So I kind of like the idea of what they say here. We're really trying to nail the team dynamics you see in movies like Saw. You have to work together, but you can't fully trust it. See, I feel like that's a cool like twist of it, you know? Like Outlast Travels PvP, like you can still work together, but you can do something to sabotage the other, so only one of you can make it to the end if it works like that. So that's actually like really cool. So like, you know, as you know, like I always want to be like some kind of like the bad guy, you know? In like those kind of situations, like, you know, I sabotage my team and only I secure victory. So I think that's a really cool concept, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a confirmed PvP. It's not confirmed if PvP will make it into the full game, but they're open to the idea of it. So it's a possibility. Well, let me know what your thoughts on PvP. I think it could be kind of interesting. Like they don't have to make it like full PvP, but like make it some way like the players can like you know sabotage the other players basically. Because I feel like that'd be kind of cool in a situation. Because honestly, think about it. Lab rats, but like you know, one guy only trusts himself but sees everybody as the enemy while other people work together. I feel like that's a cool concept, like with horror movies or any like kind of like escape situation with horror movies. I think that's just a really cool situation in my. So I mean, I am kind of open to the PvP mind, but like I hope it's not like Dead by Daylight, which like oh one guy's the killer while the other one's like you know trying to escape from him. Because I don't think it's cool, like, you know, you get to control the AI. I think it's just like you just rather have the AI just be the enemy, you know. Because it gives it like the fresh feeling. Because if it's just like another like player, then it's just kind of not fun because they'll probably just find a way to exploit them or just like have a way to bully the killer or something. So it's kind of like my overall thoughts. So yeah. So yeah. Anyways, we're probably gonna wrap up the video here. If you guys enjoyed today's video on these Outlast Trials update and everything, I'm just glad that like we have an update on all everything, so that way because like it's been like a month, so let's be fair. A lot of players would probably be angry right now if there's no like single update for the game. Because like a lot of people are just gonna be start complaining about like, oh, this game's dead, you know, like honestly, in my opinion, I don't think the game's dead. I just give them the time, and I'm just patient with them because like I know like Red Barrel is like a small dev team because like you know the first Outlast game, and then like it took them 3 years just to make Outlast 2 after Outlast 1. So it takes them a while to do, but like honestly, the Outlast game series is really good, and I do enjoy it. And I hope this game has a lot of potential to grow, and hopefully they don't ruin it. Because honestly, I'm just saying this is probably going to be my favorite horror multiplayer game of all time. I'm just saying that now. That's just my statement right now, and I hope I don't regret it. So yeah. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let's get to my dream. Let's get to the dream, boys. Join the great nation. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Yeah.